Hi everyone. One of the things that I really love about painting cows is that obviously they're herd animals. So if you stand at the edge of a field and just watch a group of cows moving, then the arrangement of the animals and the different shapes that they make is changing all the time. And I really enjoy depicting the way one animal interacts with another. So I'm just starting off today with a Prussian blue acrylic paint marker, and I'm using this, as you can see, to make some loose gestural drawings of these animals, and then depending on how things go we'll perhaps put some washes of colour over the top of the drawing. And acrylic markers are great for this type of work because of course once the paint is dry it's permanent. The mark isn't going to move if you get it wet. So, I say it's good. I guess it kind of depends what you want to do and how you want to work. The characteristics of all media that you use for art, I don't really look at them as advantages or disadvantages. They're just characteristics, and you can use them in the way you see fit. So if I wanted to move the lines around later or delete them, then I would probably use a watercolour marker in that circumstance. So there's our first cow, and now the second one is off to the right. Now one of the problems I've got at the moment is I'm actually working from a reference photograph I took from a Devon lane the other day. So just looking into a field. And this is a group of Friesian cows, and Friesian cows are great to draw, but when they're in a group, they do, because of the patterning on their bodies, the black and white patches, when they huddle together, it can be a little bit confusing for the eye. It becomes just an almost abstract pattern of black and white. So although I'm only going to be drawing 3 or maybe 5 cows depending on time, there are many more in the reference photo, and because of that I'm having to work a little bit harder than usual to pull out or to isolate in my mind which cow is which. But what we're trying to do here is create a sense of interaction and movement in these animals. So we've got a hind leg coming down round about there. And the other one I can't quite see, it must be tucked behind that right hand one. Okay, so we've got our 2 cows now, very different postures. We could put some cast shadows in. And then I want to have a third cow a little bit more off in the distance here to give us a sense of depth. So let's introduce cow number 3 over here. And then we'll pop a little horizon line for the field in about there. So we've got our 3 cows pretty much established in our drawing. So let's add some washes of colour over the top of it. Now most sensible people will tell you that a Friesian cow is black and white, and they would be correct of course. Now if you've seen some of my other videos, some of my other paintings, you'll know that I often replace black with blue, usually a pretty deep blue. But today I'm going to try something a little bit different, and wherever I see patches of black on the animal, I'm putting in areas of purple. So this is a Winsor & Newton watercolour marker, and the colour is... I can't actually see it. Where's the colour gone? Alright, I'll find that for you in a moment. Oh, it's just called mauve, actually. So what I'm going to do is block in these areas of colour. And then a little bit later on, I'm going to selectively go over parts of these purple patches with a clean, wet brush. And my hope is that that's going to allow me to make further expressive marks. But we'll see how we go. So this distant cow has got a couple of patches of purple as well. And what's nice about using the more transparent colour over the top of the darker line work is that, of course, the lines show through. And you know, it's perhaps conventional to think, well, I don't want my lines to show, but I really enjoy looking at work where you can see the multitude of layers that have gone into creating the finished product. And why not? Let's continue. Although, of course, the grass and the shadow in the grass is not purple, I think I'm going to keep this image just pretty simple. I like the way this is working out so far. So we've got quite a stark image here. 3 cows, just some purple, and some deep blue, Prussian blue. So what I'm doing now is just spraying a clean, flat brush with water. And to begin with, I'm going to come in here, let me just wipe off some of that. I don't want it to be soaking wet. And I just want to lift some of this and give the impression of grass by introducing some frayed edges just to the upper region initially. Now the question is, how much of this do I do on the cows? Because I quite like the image as it is, so I don't want to lose the power that I've got in this image so far. But I think what I will do is just very loosely drag through these watercolour patches and ensure that my brush strokes are following the contours of the animal's body. So if there's a place where I feel I can add a greater sense of 3 dimensions by adjusting the shape of the patch of colour or by introducing some extra texture, then that's what I'm going to do. So for example, on the bottoms of the ears here, you know, cows often have a few loose hairs on the bottoms of their ears, on the bottom edges, so we can introduce that, a sense of that. Now I can also use a very thin layer, thin watery layer of this same colour to introduce some more subtle shadows across the body. But once again, these are sort of small subtle adjustments that I'm including here. So I've got to be careful not to over-wet the painting, as I pretty much did just then. So let me just mop up some of that with a paper towel, and that's actually created quite an interesting mottled effect. So that was okay. Yep, we can have a little bit of shadow down there. That hind leg is in shadow. And I think I'm going to leave this painting, of the cows at least, pretty much like that. I'm wondering whether to even bother to include some eyes. I guess I should, because it perhaps looks a little bit too abstract without any eyes. To draw the eyes, I'm going to go back to the original acrylic paint marker I was using. So we need an eye here for the right hand cow, and obviously he needs another one. She needs another one as well. And we'll pop a couple of nostrils in. Again, just keeping things fairly loose. I don't want to. I like the loose line work that I've got with this particular drawing, so I don't want to do anything that's too out of keeping with that. So I would rather have a couple of marks which are rather slightly underdefined than overworking a certain area. Okay, so let's tackle the other one then. We'll give the left-hand cow a little bit of an eyelash, and again pop in a couple of nostrils as well. Now the background cow I'm going to leave completely alone. I'm pretty happy with the way things have gone, and so a quick signature. I think I'll put that bottom left this time. 2018. And then I'm going to photograph this, and what I want to show you actually is, I was thinking, well, this could be a print, an art print, but I think it would actually work really well as a bag or a design on a cushion. So I want to show you that on my website. So let me just photograph this. I'll give you a closer look at the finished image. So let's take a closer look at the finished drawing on my website. Now I've actually popped this cow design into the drawings gallery, but if you're coming to this video in a few months from now, this may not be the most recent image. So what you need to do if you want to look at it in more detail is just do a keyword search up here for purple cow or something. But I'll include a link below the video so you guys can check it out in detail. But anyway, the reason I wanted to show you this design on a bag was that I wanted to encourage you, if you're an artist just starting out, just starting to get your work out there in front of the public, or even if you're a more experienced artist, I would really strongly encourage you to, if you haven't done so already, get your work up on the internet. You can connect with so many different people, and you can offer your designs on a range of products with relatively little effort compared to the way it was done pre-internet. So if we take a look at the bag now, when I first opened up this page, the image was here, and you can see that the tassel was hitting the left-hand cow right in the eye, which is obviously no good. So I could, as a customer, I could adjust the image size here, Or what you can do is what I just did a few seconds ago. I can just slide the image down, and in doing that I've been able to make the little tassel on the end of the cord appear as if that's some hair on top of the cow's head. So that works quite well. So yeah, as I was saying, if you're interested in getting your stuff up on the internet but you're not quite sure how to go about it, please feel free to leave me a question in the comments below this video. But in the meantime, if you're new here, please remember to subscribe to the channel and hit the notifications bell. If you enjoyed watching this video, please remember to hit that like button. But in the meantime, I look forward to seeing you next Sunday for the next episode of The Sunday Art Show. Thanks very much for watching.